In the previous video, I explained how the Doer library tracks the progress of business operation using the tasks table. In this video, I would like to show a complete example how to model business operation, split it into retriable steps, and implement each one. I will use this order processing example from Doer tutorial. This pseudocode shows how order should be processed. In the happy path, it sets order status to processing, reserve goods, process payment, ship the order, and set order status to shipped. In the compensation path, depends what exactly failed in the happy path, it sets one of these rejection reason, cancel payment if needed, cancel reservation if needed, and set order status to rejected. Backend systems can't use this code as it is, because some of the calls are made over the network and may fail. In such cases, the backend may need to wait for a certain amount of time and retry the call. However, it can't simply use thread sleep or similar blocking methods. The system should be able to stop and restart instances at any time, for example, during load balancing or when deploying changes. After restart, the business operation should continue exactly where it left off. That's why we should split this code into retriable steps. Then Doer library can run and track it in a reliable way. Let's split the code. For example, process payment is a REST call that might fail temporarily and we may need to retry it, but there is no reason to repeat everything that was successfully done before. That's why we should start new step from here. Another good way to define step boundaries is the places where we need commit progress to business operation or flash changes to business data, like this transaction ID, for example. Steps should be defined as independent annotated methods. In method body, we put business logic and one additional line to update task status. It used to track progress, so every step should update it. Accept status annotation tells the library what task status should be to call this method. On exception defines how often and how long to retry this method if it throws an exception, and if it continues throwing exception, what task status to set in order to handle failure. Doer method can declare any exceptions and can accept arbitrary set of parameters. Based on parameter types, task provided automatically. For other types, you need to define Doer loader and Doer unloader methods. Number of declarations to define a step might seem high, but overall complexity stays low. It always accept status, set status, on exception optionally, and method declaration. Let me show what I mean. I need slightly rearrange this pseudocode, and I would like compare it to fully implemented business operation. Here on the left side, it's our pseudocode. On the right, implemented business operation. See? Accept status, set status, again accept status, set status, on exception, set status from exception, and so on. Maximum, some methods may have several accept status or several set status statements. This approach to define steps is very convenient to handle the details. Steps are isolated and focused, and it is also very unit test friendly. Any IDE can show where your method is called from in your test. But there is another type of questions. For example, can this cancel payment step be reached by business operation without previous attempt to process payment? To answer such question, you can jump over all tasks all task statuses to find out if it was called or not, but it's very tedious. To help answer such questions, Doer library generate doer file, which you can render into a diagram. This is visual representation of all business operations implemented in your backend system. For example, looking at this diagram, the question like, can cancel payment be reached without previous attempt to process payment? We instantly can answer yes here when reserve goods fails. Let's summarize. Split your business operation into retriable steps. Put each step into its own doer method with accept status annotation and exception annotation, and additionally set status call. Compile your project and generate doer diagram to have an overview of all business operations implemented in your backend. That's it. Have a nice day.